Our friend the captain's performance at his friend's niece's wedding brought him newfound fame and attention within the community. Everybody he met was now clamouring to buy his barrels, and with this sudden explosion of trade came considerable profits. The captain was a humble man who lived in a humble community, and he had no particular need to spend his hard-won gains on new gear for his barge. That all changed after an unfamiliar ship appeared in the waters of the bay. For the most part, the islanders were happy to live and let live, and the newcomer vessel posed no serious threat. But the newcomers were an arrogant bunch, and they insisted on fishing within the bay precincts, where they had no right to lay anchor. This did not sit well with the captain, who had the interests of the community at heart. Peaceful by nature, he decided to try and impress the newcomers with his superior shipbuilding prowess and show them the community they had invaded was not to be trifled with. He got to work building a vast ship that he hoped would scare them away. The newcomers only laughed at the captain's enormous cube, and they totally ignored his attempts to intimidate them. Crestfallen, the captain returned to his island and meditated on what to do next. The captain realized he was somewhat inexperienced at building large ships. To muscle out the intruders, it would not be enough to simply lash more logs together and build a bigger raft. He would have to make a ship that he and the whole community could be proud of. Determined to improve his skills, the captain set off to the Ship Expo, a great hub in a faraway sea where he could learn from the greatest shipwrights in the world. What he learned there put his tail firmly between his legs. Stocked up with new knowledge, he went home and started work on his masterpiece. He chose to build his ship docked to the main town, where the waters were deeper and there would be no trouble with running aground. He had only one core raft, so he reasoned he would have to plan the shape of his ship around this important part. He had decided to build a fearsome galleon with a raised deck at the stern, a main deck, and a tilted prow to really terrify his opponents. He thus set to work on the stern, leaving plenty of room for the prow later on. He made sure to keep an eye on the center of gravity shown by the blue arrow. He knew that if he built a heavily imbalanced vessel, it could be difficult to rebalance it later with barrels. He tried as hard as he could to integrate natural curvature into the design, keeping his structures thin and light to give him more space to work with later on. To make his ship look even more impressive, he built in multi-dimensional bevels to give the whole ship a smoother, more curved look. By using different sizes, he was able to achieve smooth, natural curves of varying scope. His work complete, the captain went on a victory tour of the islands. The island people marveled at his work, and the very sight of the ship brightened up their faces. None of them had ever seen such a majestic ship in their waters before. Buoyed by the assurance of his fellow islanders, the captain steered in the direction of the newcomer's vessel and proceeded to circle it, flaunting the wonders he had created. But the small raft did not move a single fathom. It stayed right where it was, watching and waiting for the captain to make a move. Did the captain back down, or did he blast their boat out of the ocean? Find out in the next episode of Crafting Yarns.